again, I want to welcome you. Before we get into the agenda, I want to tell you a little bit more about myself. So you'll see during this presentation, I'm going to incorporate some things that I absolutely love, things that I have known to work for me to help me calm down, be a little more relaxed, and to be a little more comfortable in being who I am. And so I'm going to share these things with you because it's become a part of my self-care plan. Okay. So for those of you who know me, know that I absolutely love music. I like to dance. I like to sing. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to do any of that today. And I'm not going to do that because although I like to do it, I'm not really great at doing it, but I enjoy it. And so the whole premise of this conversation today is for you to just show up and to be your authentic self, right? To just show up in all your glory and all your fabulousness and just be you, because I think you're amazing and you are supported and loved here. So again, thank you for your participation and thank you for allowing me to be me. I think a lot of times we don't give ourselves permission to do that. And so we come and we bring a cheap copy of somebody else. Well, some of the things, again, that I enjoy is I love finding reasons to smile. I love operating from an attitude of gratitude, and I absolutely love people. And so it's truly an honor to be with you today. So I think you all are amazing. And here's our agenda. So today we're going to look at why you're worthy, the effects of stress on the body. We'll look at the mental and physical effects. We'll also learn how to manage some of that stress, to be intentional, to be committed. And then we're going to intentionally create space for you by looking for opportunities to include mindfulness and self-care into our daily plan, right? We're going to talk about why you are worthy, why you are worthy. So again, here's our learning objectives. I think all of these things are important for us to recognize, first of all, our worth, because when we love things, when we find the value in them, we tend to treat them better. We tend to care for them a little bit more better. So you are worthy. I want you to let that sit with you for a moment. You are worthy because you're loyal, reliable, supportive, funny, a good listener, very supportive, kind, caring, thoughtful, reliable, thoughtful, dependable, funny, supportive, caring again, funny, supportive, generous, funny, kind and funny, uplifting, and very supportive. So those are all the things that your best friend, the person who knows you most, said about you. That's what you said about you. So despite everything that you've endured up until this moment, despite all the mistakes that we've made and all the things we wish we could have done differently, we're still worthy, right? And so we're going to take a further dive into that. Because I know some of you are still not believing me. You don't believe that you're supportive and generous all the time, only sometimes when it's convenient. But that's not the truth. So it's often, again, hard for us to support ourselves and recognize our value because we're so used to, as women, we're so used to supporting others. But it's important for us to support ourselves as well. So this is why you are the amazing person that you are. There are over 7.9 billion people in the world, but no one else is exactly like you. In the United States alone, there are over 328.2 million, and there are approximately 4.468 million in Kentucky. But again, absolutely no one is exactly like you. In this lovely city that many of us call home of Lexington, there are over 324,000 people. But again, I want to remind you that there's absolutely no one just like you. No one else has your smile, your eyes, your vision, your dreams, your insight, your wisdom. No one else can teach, can inspire, can engage, can encourage, and can lead exactly as you do. There's no other person in this huge entire world exactly like you, because you are perfect and you are unique. Flaws and all, you are still wonderfully, carefully, and exceptionally made. You are designed for a specific purpose. You are chosen and selected for such a task as this, with the sole intent to protect, to guide, to inspire, to help, to heal, to educate, to nurture, to support, to create, to design, to build, to make better, a more sustainable, kinder, gentler, safer, healthier world. Certainly, that sounds like a huge insurmountable task, right? But you're designed for it. You're equipped for it. And you do the very exact thing on a daily basis. And you do it so wonderfully well that you do it with grace and efficiency in a spirit of excellence. And that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you incredibly worthy. You have what it takes. And from time and time again, you've demonstrated this. You are the educators, the leaders, the mentors, the nurturers. You are the change that this world needs. You, my dear, are worthy. You are one in a million, or should we say one in a billion. No matter how you look at it, you are precious. In fact, you are a gift to this world. And I'm not just saying these things so that you could be arrogant, so that you could be prideful or boastful, but I'm saying it because every day you show up as your true, authentic self, and you lead and you do your job. You play your role, again, in the spirit of excellence and grace. And for that, I say thank you. You are very important. You are the VIP because you're generous with your time and you're generous with your talents. You're always willing to lend a helping hand. Because of that, again, you are very, extremely, uniquely important. And you mean so much to so many. But I want you to consider today, I want to remind you that although you are a VIP, you are the MVP to yourself as well. Again, because we do so much for others as women, I want to encourage you to take some time out and pamper, love, nurture, inspire, encourage, and be all those great things to yourself as well. And so this is what we're going to look at today. We're going to take a look at how we can manage not time, but manage ourselves into doing that. Again, especially for women, many of us operate under that mantra that mommies make it happen, right? We will shake the earth to make sure that our kids' needs are met, that our family is supported, that we're doing whatever needs to be done on our job. And we do that. We take care of business. We handle things well. But sometimes we have too many titles. We have the role of the CEO, the director, and other duties as required, both professionally and personally. We're caregivers, nurturers, sisters, specialists, and whatever that means, we take care of everything in our home, everything on our job. We want to make sure that we're doing a job and not just doing it, but we're doing it well. And you are doing a great job. Again, this is just to remind you how powerful, how magnificent, how wonderful you are. You are magnificent, amazing, and powerful beyond your wildest imagination. You are super. But even super women need to relax, reset, and release. Every superwoman will come to a point in time where they'll need to reevaluate, reprioritize, and refrain from doing certain things. Even the best superwomen known in history has had to take time to relax, reset, and release. The best super women, they need to know when to slow down or take a break so that they can rest. They'll also find themselves needing time to just shut that whole system down so that they can reset, because the plan that they thought they wanted may be contrary to what they actually need. And so you may have to redirect things. Finally, there will be times when superwomen will need to release the people, places, and things that no longer serve them well, things that causes more harm than good, things that hinder their progress and is secretly killing them on the inside. So you see, no matter how super, how powerful, how magnificent you are, having that power to say and acknowledge and then do something about changing it so that we could serve ourselves is important. Being able to rest, reset, and release all those things that no longer serve us is ideal. And so today we're going to model those behaviors based on what needs to be done, not necessarily what we saw growing up. Because I know I've watched a lot of the people that came before me work so incredibly hard, and I'm thankful. But I also saw them work through their struggles. I also saw them go out and do community service and wear so many hats that they had trouble juggling them, but they suffered in silence. And so I want to be the change. I want to do things differently. And I encourage you all to do that as well. So we're going to take a look at why it's important to manage to be able to manage, again, not necessarily our time, but to manage ourselves. One second, please. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. So that video was cute, right? It may have been a little bit funny to some, but the effects of stress on the body is no laughing matter. The bottom line is stress can kill, and we're all worthy of living our absolute best life, free from diseases in our body and disease in our mind. So stress causes disease in the body and dis-ease in our mind. Unmanaged stress can cause disease and dysfunction in literally every area of our lives, including our homes, families, and communities. It affects our relationships, our employment status, everywhere. So here we're going to look at some behavioral symptoms of stress. So what does stress look like? From an emotional standpoint, it looks like someone becoming easily agitated, feeling unwell, overwhelmed, like you're losing control or need to take control, having difficulty relaxing and quieting your mind, feeling bad about yourself, having low self-esteem, worthless, or depressed. Stress also shows up like this in the physical. Having low energy, headaches, digestive problems, aches, pain, muscle tension, chest pain, rapid heartbeat, insomnia, frequent colds and infections, loss of sexual desire and or ability, nervousness and shaking, ringing in the ears, cold or sweaty hands and feet, dry mouth, and difficulty swallowing. You also may notice clenched jaws and grinding teeth. Behaviorally, it'll look like changes in appetite. So either you're eating too much or too little, procrastinating and avoiding responsibilities, increased use of alcohol, drugs, or cigarettes. You may also exhibit nervous behaviors such as nail biting, fidgeting, and pacing. And so I've shared some of these symptoms with you because often as women, we're good as masking our feelings. And one of the most common fallacies that we say when someone asks us how we're doing is, well, I'm good, I'm okay. And so we're good at covering up because, again, we don't want to be judged. We want to appear that we have it all together. And from the surface, our friends may think we have it all together. But I want to encourage you to check on your strong friends. During this pandemic, we know that we've gone through a lot, we've witnessed a lot. And so it's important for us to support each other. So although they may pretend to be strong, and we know they are, we know that we're resilient, but again, we struggle in areas that we're not necessarily comfortable in disclosing. So come on, ask those questions, keep pressing along, and don't be afraid to reset, relax, and release when necessary. So stress affects all systems of the body, including the musculoskeletal, respiratory, cardiovascular, endocrine, gastrointestinal, nervous, and reproductive system. It affects, again, every area of our body when it's unmanaged. It's been linked to a number of diseases such as asthma, obesity, diabetes, headaches, depression, anxiety, Alzheimer's, heart disease, autoimmune diseases, and more. And so what happens is when our body feels an imminent threat of danger, it automatically goes into that fight, flight, or freeze response. And it produces hormones, and too many of those hormones in our body can cause it to be out of sync. So again, anything that's too much or too little causes our body to be unbalanced. Hormones such as adrenaline is responsible for increasing our heart rate, elevating our blood pressure, boosting our energy supplies, but it can be contributed to high blood pressure, heart disease, and other heart-related issues. Cortisol is the primary stress hormone. Again, it increases our sugar levels in the bloodstream. It enhances your brain use of glucose, and it increases the ability for substances to repair itself. And so what we find, again, is those things that are supposed to help us causes harm because it is unbalanced. So I want to, again, encourage you to change because you're worthy of good health and wellness. And just because something has run in our family doesn't mean that it has to continue with us, right? So I've seen high blood pressure, I've seen anxiety and mental health issues, I've seen a number of things, but we each get a choice to make a change, make a difference. And one of the key things that we can do, again, as mentioned in our video, is having a healthy diet, exercise, and having healthy habits. But also learning to manage our stress is most important. So how do we manage our stress? Number one, stay in the moment. Thinking too far in the past can lead to depression. Thinking too far in advance can lead to anxiety. And so this is where practicing mindfulness comes into play. It's extremely helpful because mindfulness keeps us centered, it keeps us grounded, and it keeps us right in the moment so we can be fully aware and present. The second thing we could do is reframe the situation. Change how we think about it. Instead of thinking about it from a woe is me perspective, think about it as an opportunity to learn something new, to grow, and to make positive change. The third thing we could do is to adopt an attitude of gratitude. Let's face it, we've all experienced some form of trauma. We've all will undoubtedly go through some stressful event. But when we look at it from an attitude of gratitude, we're focused on what we do have in our life instead of focusing on the scarcity. So when we focus on all the people, the places, and the things that we have to support us, we can appreciate that more. And it will tend to give us a more hopeful, optimistic outcome because we're looking at it from that perspective. Finally, just breathe. Breathing is one of the simplest things we could do. Breathe deeply. Breathing is important because it sends a message to the brain to first calm down, to relax, and then respond. Also, when we take deep breaths, we take in oxygen that's needed to obtain energy to fuel all living processes. And so the oxygen comes in and it touches all of our vital organs and it helps us. It sends that energy we need to calm down, right? So when you take a deep breath, you're able to relax, you're able to think clearly, and then respond accordingly. So long breaths also helps us to manage our stress responses. It helps to decrease anxiety, fear, racing thoughts, rapid heartbeat, shallow chest breathing. And these responses can directly impact our physical, mental, and emotional health over time. And so that's why it's extremely important to breathe, to take a deep breath. Think about it. When you find yourself in a stressful situation, the first thing we do is panic, right? And then we start to hyperventilate. And before you know it, you're breathing really fast. You can't think, you can't talk, you can't do anything but shut down. But again, breathing sends that signal to, hey, calm down, girl. You got this. We've done this before. You could do it again, right? And so with that being said, we're going to practice our second activity. The first one was to write a positive word about your best friend, but this one, we're going to try a guided breathing exercise. So I invite you to just sit comfortably. Make sure your feet are planted on the floor, and that you're grounded. I want you to relax. And as your body settles in, close your eyes. Bring awareness to your breathing. Notice your breath coming in and going out. Follow your breath with your awareness. Follow the breath all the way in and follow the breath all the way out. Not trying to change it in any way, just breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, feeling the breath as it passes through your nostrils. Breathing out, feeling the breath as it leaves your nostrils. I want you to keep your awareness lightly and gently on your breath, breathing mindfully and in the present moment. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. And so if any thoughts come in, as they always do, acknowledge the thought without judgment, let them go, and let them drift away like clouds floating across the sky. Bring your awareness back to your breathing, back to the present moment. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. And again, every time your attention moves away from the breath, distracted by a thought or something you have to remember to do, perhaps, maybe it's something that's bothering you or worrying you, notice that thought, acknowledge the thought, and then let it go. Bring your awareness back to your breath, back to the present moment, letting your full awareness be on your breath as it comes in, as it goes out. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. So when you bring your awareness to the breath in this way, you're connecting the mind and body in the present moment. The word for breath and the word for spirit in many languages is the same. So bringing awareness to your breath connects your mind, body, and spirit in the present moment. So dwelling in the present moment, I know that this is a wonderful moment. Continue to mindfully breathe in a way that is long as it's right for you. So follow the breathing all the way in. Notice a slight pause as you breathe in and you breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And find your rhythm. So as we bring this meditation to an end, I want you to keep your eyes closed for just a little while longer. Take a moment to notice how you're feeling, your body, your mind, your spirit. And if you like, you can offer gratitude for the time you've taken for yourself to be quiet, to breathe, and to bring yourself back into balance. So I'd like you to slowly come back, aware of your body and your chair, and you can open your eyes when you feel comfortable. So how does that feel? You could enter that in your chat. Does it help you feel a little more relaxed? And so when we're in that moment, I know a lot of times we don't have time to have a whole guided meditation, right? But we can simply breathe. Just breathing in and breathing out will make a world of difference. Think about all those times people wish they would have stopped and thought about what they were doing before they actually did it, right? So there would be a lot of less heartbreak, a lot of heartache, and a lot more happy people, right? And there would be less fractured relationships. Yeah. So let's take a look. Let's shift. We're going to shift to create balance. So how do we create balance? To illustrate this point, I want you to think about how it is if you were to stand on one leg and you lean to the side and you put all of your weight on that one leg. Get a little shaky, right? Things will feel a little awkward and you'll find yourself leaning in one direction more than the other. Try not to fall. You may have to just put that other leg down, right? So that you can create some balance. Well, this is no different than how we operate in life. There's times when we'll need to make slight adjustments to bring ourselves back in balance. Perhaps we're juggling too many things. We're wearing too many titles. We're carrying too many hats. you'll notice the signs that things are getting out of balance, because we'll start to feel exhausted, we'll start to feel sick. And that there may be signs that may be a sign to listen to your body and listen to your emotions, right? So staying in balance may look a little bit different it'll look different for everyone. We all have a certain level of tolerance where we could just deal with things without it affecting our overall well-being. And everybody has different supports in places. And so our needs will look different, but we all have needs to balance. Balance is not something you find, but it's something you create. And how do we create it? So we create balance by acknowledging and accepting that, hey, we can't do everything for everyone all the time. You only have so many resources, whether that's time, energy, money, etc. And while it's understandable that we want to help everybody all the time, right? Because again, that's the behaviors that we saw growing up. But when you know better, you have to do better, right? We watched our grandparents and maybe even our mothers do so much for so many others because they kept saying, oh, we want this generation to be the better than the previous, right? And we wanted to go farther. We wanted to do more. But at what toll? What toll did it take on our bodies and in our health and in our relationships? And so, again, acknowledge and accept that you can't do everything all the time. And it's okay. It's okay. People will still love you and appreciate you for what you can do, but they'll love you and appreciate you more if you bring your whole self, your well self to the table instead of just showing up raggedy, right? So learn to manage yourself and not your time. Some would say that effective time management skills play a significant role in this area. However, again, there's only so much time in a day. You can only do so much, and learning to say no. By the way, no is a complete sentence. And you don't have to offer up excuses or reasons. It's okay to say no with no explanation needed, right? People will understand, people will manage, and people will get by if you can't show up for them all the time. So this is where we'll have to reassess and reprioritize our to-do list. Remember to relax, reset, and release. Create space for you. Again, learning to say no will open up some more time so you can go and do those things that you absolutely love. And I challenge you, start today. Look in the mirror and practice saying it for those that it's extremely difficult to do. Can you help me move? No. Can you help me pick out that outfit for tomorrow? No. I know it's your day off, but you don't have any kids and you got all the time in the world. No, they don't even have to finish. Just no, right? So practice makes perfect. So there is absolutely no one more deserving of creating space and time for you than you. As women, again, we are nurturers and we tend to everybody else's needs but ours. But when we recognize our value, when we reaffirm ourselves, and we know that we don't deserve to go at the end of the list, but at the top of the list, because we are the VIPs and MVPs of our lives. And there's absolutely no one more deserving of you to create time for you than you. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so show up with your true, authentic best self, not just the fragile, the overworked, the overwhelmed, stressed out person. So be intentional. Look for ways to be intentional, to be committed, and to be you. And when I say to be you, I mean to be beautiful. Be you until full. That's what beautiful means to me. You do whatever makes you happy, whatever makes your heart smile, whatever that thing is, whether it's playing music, whether it's dancing and singing, or just being with other people. Do the thing as part of your self-care plan that makes you feel fulfilled, right? And again, this is going to look different from according to each person. What creates balance in my life may look completely different in yours. So again, be committed, be intentional, find time for yourself, schedule time for you. You set the rules. So you're worthy of this time. Don't overcommit. Don't take that time out and say, oh, well, I don't have time to do this today. Well, guess what? Eventually, your body will make time for you, because as you saw in the video, as you noticed on those previous slides, either you will find times to provide self-care for yourself, or your body will not perform at optimum prime. So it's important to take care of yourself. Again, set those rules. Don't overcommit or allow anyone to invade in that time. A lot of time we will deem this time less important to things like chores or things like providing a favor for someone, but you're just as worthy and just as deserving as all of those things. If you need more flexibility, find some activities that you could do in 2 to 5 minutes. Find things that you don't necessarily have to have an appointment for, but you could just do them sporadically. But no matter what it is, find that time to create space for you, because we all need that self-care. And self-care is not selfish. Self-care is not a waste of time. Self-care is the ultimate form of self-love. I hear that all too often. I can't say, oh, I don't have time for this. Again, make time, be intentional, be committed. So what do you think are some reasons why we don't put ourselves first? I know it's family. I know it's work. I know it's a lot of things. And you know what those things are for you. And so this is where I'm going to ask you to listen to that still small voice inside of yourself. Jot that thing down, write down what makes you happy, and then go out and make a plan to make it happen. Right? So here's 15 ways that we can practice self-love. Remember, self-care is self-love. And these are some ways that we can incorporate mindfulness, right? So be fully aware, being fully present in that moment, not judging, but just completely engaged in that moment. I'm going to ask you all, I know we don't like homework, and today is on Friday, but sometimes, sorry guys, drop that light. Sometime over the weekend, I'm going to ask you all to write yourself a love letter. Tell yourself how much you mean to you. And when you get down, when you find yourself being overwhelmed, pull that letter out. Look at all the wonderful and positive things you've said to yourself, and remember that. Remember that. Feed off of that. Get reinvigorated with those thoughts, right? Because they will add value to your life. And also, when we believe that we are deserving and worthy, we tend to treat ourselves better, right? We tend to pamper those things better, nurture and care for them more. So that's a takeaway we could do. But here's a list again of 15 ways we could practice self-love. Another thing I encourage you to do is to listen how you speak to yourself in your head and use kind words. Be sure to show yourself compassion. Remember, we talked about being mindful, no judging. And what does that voice sound like when you're speaking to yourself? Is it empowering? Is it inspiring? Does it encourage you to do better and be better to yourself? Or is it judging? Is it saying things like, dang, girl, you can't ever get this right? Or goodness, you could do better. How does that voice sound? And practice. If it is condemning, if it's disparaging, try something different. Write down some I am affirmations. Affirm yourself. So there's power in believing in the I am affirmation, because as a man thinketh, so is he. And so if you believe that you are loving and you are kind and you are nurturing and you are generous and you are deserving and you are all those things you jotted down in the text earlier, will tend again To affirm ourselves, we'll develop a healthier self-esteem, we'll have healthier confidence levels, and we'll be able to try new things and do new things and soar and shine bright. So it would also help us to reprioritize. It'll help us to reset and to release all of those thoughts that does not serve us well. So it's up to us to determine what thoughts are true, what thoughts we'll focus on, and how much energy we'll spend focusing on the negative, and how much energy we will conserve by focusing on the good. So again, the choice is yours, and to pay special attention. So we're running out of time, but I want to encourage you again, continue that list. Write down all of those wonderful things that your best friend, you, said about yourself. Jot down your I am statements. Here are some more self-care activities that you could have. Remember, all of the sessions will be recorded if you want to take a look at it. This information will be disclosed on our YouTube channels, and go back and revisit it. Maybe it's something that you hadn't thought of previously. And some of these things are so simple, like breathe in fresh air. We take so much for granted sometimes, right? Breathing in fresh air, because it's so simple, and air is all around. And so when we're out in it, we're too busy thinking about other things, thinking about what I need to do when I get home, thinking about how I'm going to drive and what I'm going to do and what I'm going to eat and all these other things, instead of focusing. Wow, this air smells wonderful. Wow, I'm grateful to breathe air. Just focus on those little things. Be present, be aware, and stay in the moment. But again, those are some activities that we could try. Here are some daily affirmations that you could write down and adopt into your own self-care plan. I am enough. I am working on me for me. I am going to be okay. Good things are coming to me, right? Affirm yourself, because you are a gift to this world. You deserve to be a priority in your life. You are amazing. You are worthy. And so I'm going to ask you all to write down 3 things that you absolutely love to do, and incorporate those things in your self-care plan. And finally, again, I want to read this to you because I want this to sit and settle in who you are. You are enough. You are so much more than enough. You are strong. You are unique. You are needed. You bring to this world things that no one else can. You are perfect exactly as you are. You deserve the best. You are worthy of love. You are beautiful inside and out. Always has been and always will be. You are enough. You are amazing. You are precious. You are worthy. And I'm going to conclude this presentation how we started. There are over 7.8 billion people in the world, 328.2 million people in the United States. Yet, there is no one exactly like you. They don't have your smile, your eyes, your vision, your dream, your insight, or your wisdom, because you are perfectly unique. Flaws and all, you're still wonderfully, carefully, and uniquely made. Designed for a specific purpose, chosen and selected for the task, and with the sole intent of guiding, protecting, inspiring, partnering, educating, supporting, creating, designing, healing, and building a better, more sustainable, kinder, gentler world. Certainly, it sounds like a huge, insurmountable task, but you are designed and equipped to complete it with efficiency in a spirit of excellence and grace. You have what it takes. So continue to share your gifts, talents, skills in making this world a better place. Continue to be the light and shine bright just as you are. So be well and all the best.